Namaskar, good morning, dear devotees and friends. This Saturday morning again, we will study the Astavakra Samhita. This class is organized by the Hindu Temple of Greater Chicago, Lemont. But since this period is going on, I am giving the same course online, sitting in my office. So let us again chant this mantra and memorize this, because those who like to travel in the path of knowledge, these few lines are the guidelines for them. Atma Shakshi Vibhu Purna Eka Mukta Chid Akriyaha Asango Nispriha Shanto Brahmat Samsaravan Ibaha. The first chapter, 12th verse. The self is witness, Atma Shakshi, and it is Vibhu, all pervading, and also it is perfect. One without second, Eka, Mukta, free. Chid, Akriya, it is consciousness and unattached. Today we will discuss about this particular aspect of the Brahman, unattached. And it is Asango, desireless, and quiet, Shanta, Nispriya, Shanta. Through illusion it appears as if it is of the world, bound by the circle of birth and death. It as if it is bound, but in reality it is not. So we will be reading from the 17th chapter today, and in the 17th chapter I think it is a perfect name should be given as the joy of living alone. The joy of living alone. We are so afraid to live alone, and people always need the company. At least when they are alone, they keep some animals, some pets, and something to get the company. But it is the joy of living alone. How it is? We will come to that. You know that last month when we were discussing, as long as desire continues, one has to travel from birth to death. Birth and death, it goes on. Why? Because the desire is the main thing. From the desire, this problem comes. And the moment we are in that circle, obviously the inclination to the sense objects are known in Sanskrit as the vasanas. The desire of what? Enjoying the sense objects. And this enjoying the sense objects, this thing is called as, known as vasanas. The root of vasana is the ego. So one after another it goes like this. So why we are suffering? Because of our desire. And what is happening in the desire? And we are taking different births, and we are dying once again taking birth. It is going on, circle after circle, repetition of the same thing. And not that we will get this human body every time. Not that all these benefits of the human body that we are having today will be in my next life. It may not be, maybe may not be. So the birth and death in that circle, the millions and millions of lives are going to spend. And in every life we are suffering. In every life. The little ant, it was crossing, and someone walked without noticing, stumbled on that, and the ant is dead. Nothing happened. The ant was not doing anything, and the man was not also trying to kill it, just by accident. He never noticed like that. Life after life, it goes on and on. Think in this way. So this desire is the main root. And the root of the desire is ego, I. This is the ego. So we have to go beyond ego. And the ego acts in two ways, raga and dvesha. The raga means attachment and desha aversion. The both, I don't like it, is also bondage, and I like it also bondage. The raga and dvesha, these are the two ways it always acts, and I like it, I don't like that. In the center position it is I, and then that comes the desire. Again, just for your remembrance, the Sanskrit word of desire is vasana, and sometimes it says eshana, and the vasana or eshanas are many. So I am not going to go into that details. Now we already started, we just perhaps many of you can remember in our last class, pravitto jayate rago, nirvitto desha eva hi, niddanda balabad dhiman. So 3 lines I have quoted from the 16th chapter, verse number 8. Pravitto, pravitri, that means the attachment. Jayate raga, activity, pravritti, the activity that begets the attachment. Whatever I do, that develops attachment. So we have to remember, nothing wrong in performing, nothing wrong in doing. It is rather better to be very active. But only thing, whatever we do, we say, we should not be attached to that. That is called pravitto jayate rago. Nirvitto, I don't want, dvesha eva hi. That also creates aversion. The nirvitti is aversion. And niddando balabat dhiman. But a man of knowledge, it becomes like a child. There is no duality, niddando. The good or bad attachment or aversion, nothing is there. And that is the ideal life. So that is the goal. So here, those who are following the path of knowledge, they are supposed to understand this. What is the goal? Not that I will go into a solitude, not talking with anyone, not doing anything in this world. Sometimes people, they think in that way. And thousands of years, the Indian sannyasis, they lived in that only. But when they are living alone, they become selfish. Many of the people, they live alone. In America, many I have seen, they are living alone. But it doesn't mean that is the highest stage. They become to some extent selfish. They cannot adjust with others. When you are living in the community, when you are living in the society, you have to adjust. And adjustment means you have to adjust with your ego. Whatever I want, I feel, I desire must be fulfilled. No, you cannot do that. You have to control that. So that is the controlling of the ego. So sometimes in the name of freedom, the people think whatever they like they can do. They are not. Because they are living in a society. And society must be having some rules and regulations. Otherwise, that will be chaotic thing. So why the police? Why the administration? Why the rules? Why the courts? Because of that. Only that because those are there, we all living happily. Otherwise, just think of it. The law of the jungle, sometimes they used to say. So that is and in America they always say, the wild, the west. The western, the field, it was wild. You just can do anything you like. So slowly, slowly they were tamed, they were controlled, they were brought. So that is a different thing. Through punishment, through the law, they were controlled. But control means outwardly. But one who is controlling himself and totally becoming detached, that is the ideal life. That is the spiritual life. That is the life of joy, a life of living all alone. And we will come to that. As a student of Vedanta, you all know that what does it mean by alone. This is, now, this ahamkara, ego, it has a raga, desire, and karma, activity. The nivritti, abstention from the certain desire, but that also cannot be an ideal state. Why? Duality still remains while practicing nivritti. There is a beautiful song in Bengali when those who are worshippers of Mother Kali, Goddess Kali, they always sing Pravritti Nivritti Jaya. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel also you will find he is singing this song. Pravritti and Nivritti. The one is the desire, another for activity, another is aversion. No, I don't like to do. So Pravritti and Nivritti, they are two wives of the mind. Take both, then go beyond them. In a very simple, the social way is a way that is the highest Vedanta. They is to teach to the ordinary people in this way. So pravritti and nivritti. So go beyond both. That is the advice. Go beyond both. Pravritti, desire, nivritti, abstention. And from the pravritti comes raga, attachment. From the nivritti comes aversion. But there is all duality. The moment the conception of duality, the two are there, I don't want that. So I and that, two things. I want these. So again, this is I and these, two things. So we have to keep in mind, wherever there are conception of two, the thought of two, there will be clashes. There will be clashes. The father and the son, they are also sometimes don't go together. There may be clashes between the father and the son, two brothers, two sisters, any two. Even the twin brothers and sisters I have seen, they're fighting between them. Why? Any two means that. So when we observe this world, we have to understand why this problem, because of the two. What is the problem that is creating conception of two? So we have to come into this, and the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning again in another story form, take one, the thorn, and then use that to remove the other thorn sticking in your leg. Afterwards, after removing, throw both the thorns. Otherwise, it is going to harm you. So this is the way, again and again, take the help of the thorn to remove. Then throw out both. In our last month discussion, we discussed all these. Now in the 17th chapter that we are going to study now, the great Rishi Astavakra describing the joy of one who is truly alone. How it is the word the alone is applicable over here? Does it mean the knower of Brahman, the man of liberation, is not living in the society? No, it is not. Most of us are afraid even to think to be lonely, isn't it? We love to be socially connected. We love to always. We have so many things nowadays. In the modern times, social connection is so much. Every time so many messages are coming in the phone. So naturally you are connected with the whole world, so many people, known, unknown. From there, you are connected, you are talking with them, but at the same time, you are not connected. How it is? The Rishi is talking about the highly exalted spirituality, spiritually enlightened person. This loneliness is not, sometimes they say, a mad can live alone. He is in himself. The one thought that struck his mind, he cannot come out of that thought, so go on brooding on that particular thought, goes on talking with some imaginary people, and he is fighting with them. So many things he is doing. Apparently from the outside, the people will think, oh, there's a mad person. He's talking, he's showing his, I've observed some of them, you'll feel why he is doing. You can go and talk, you can give some food, it's a human being. But at the same time, he's completely different than the normal one. Why? Because he cannot come out of that particular thought, that much, and nothing else. And we, as we call normal people, what we do, there are many other thoughts are there. Not that we are not angry. We are angry for some thoughts, but then we cover that with some other thoughts. It goes on and on and on. So in the society we call it normal. But the moment it is not, we call it abnormal. So we said is a mad. So they treat them in a different way. So etc., etc., it goes on. But what about the man of knowledge? The man of knowledge also completely alone, talking with himself, living within him, but completely different. How? He says no two, he says one. When he is talking with us, he sees that consciousness in different forms. So those who have read the Gospel and the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, this actually explains so wonderfully in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, he was the worshipper of goddess Kali. You can imagine. And he was going with some of the devotees in a horse-drawn carriage, and there was a place where the carriage was passing, some prostitutes, they were there. Sri Ramakrishna saw them, and he immediately, with the folded hands, like the Hindus, with the folded hands, he said, Mother, you like to be dressed like this, like to behave like this? And he was so happy and respectful for those ladies who most of the society they hate. The Sri Ramakrishna, not that he is not seeing those prostitutes, he saw them as prostitutes standing over there, but no, he saw them the Divine Mother. So he was offering pranam to them, respect to them. Naturally the ladies, you can see, they won't understand this, but the man of knowledge, the man of realization, for him it is nothing but the Mother. When the devotees are coming, the Sri Ramakrishna saw the Mother, that divine supreme consciousness, in different form they are coming. Manifestation of the consciousness may be little or more, different grades, but all consciousness in different forms. He is so happy. So what that person is seeing, is he completely away from the society? No, he is in the society. This is the beauty. This is exactly what we are going to learn today. We have to be in the society, in the middle of the society. We have to work and work intently. But at the same time, our realization should be that everything that I am doing, that I is the consciousness, and whatever I am doing for myself, that is also the consciousness in a different form. This much. And that is called the highest spiritual realization. Astavakra said, in the 16th chapter he is telling it all depends on you. Even if you get your gurus like the Haro Jadi Upadeshtate Hari Kamalaja Opiba Tathapi na taba swastam sarva vismaranat rite. This Sanskrit, when they use the different the words they use, the meaning is little different. So when we read the meaning, we understand it. Sarva vismaranat rite. Unless and until you forget everything. That means the different manifestation. Not forgetting everything like a mad person is forgetting. No. The mad person cannot recognize the others. But this person is forgetting the manifestation of so many things that he is forgetting. Why? Because it is not so many, it is only one. It is only one looking like this. If you have gone to one place I visited, there are thousands of the glasses. And if you entered into that room, immediately you see yourself in millions all over the rooms. If you look at the roof top, you are there in everywhere. Small glasses, the mirrors maybe. So there you have become so many. That is the best example of the Vedanta. I become so many. I entered into the room and I see myself on the wall, hundreds and hundreds of me. At the back, in the front, on both sides, on the top, below, everywhere. It is you. And you are so many. What happens to you then? Oh, where am I? Where is me? Do you think that you have lost yourself? No. You enjoy those reflections of yours, maybe in different forms. That's all. When a beggar is coming, or a illiterate person is coming, or a rich person is coming, it is nothing but you. You in different form. So that is exactly the experience of a Brahmagyani. Not that they are lonely, but they are detached. So it says, unless and until you become the free from these, sarva vismaranat rite, unless you can forget that all that I see are different. No, it is not. If you can't, even if you get your Guru as a Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, the three great gods, if they come as your Guru, instruct you, guide you, they won't be able to help you. So who is responsible? I, me, the person who is trying to realize the Brahman, trying to realize the Atman, trying to realize the knowledge or jnana. Now he enjoys being alone. Who? He who gained the fruit of knowledge also gained the fruit of yoga and attained purification of mind and contented. So I am quoting from the first verse of the 17th chapter. Tena jnana phalam praptam. Jnana phalam, the result of the knowledge, praptam. He get that result of the knowledge again. Yoga bhyasa phalam tatha. What is the yoga? Constantly, the constant effort to be united with the truth. Constantly your mind will take you this, there. Immediately you have to withdraw. Million times you have to withdraw your mind to make it concentrated on one. So that is called yoga abhyasa. Yoga means union with the consciousness. I am not using the word God over here because we are discussing about the pure Advaita, Kevala Advaita. There is no conception of two. Forget about that. It is only you and you alone. There is no God, there is no Guru, there is no scripture, there is nothing. It is only you. And that is the courage you need to follow the path of knowledge. I am not going to blame anyone. If I suffer, it is for me. If I am successful enjoying, it is for me. So all the time, so this needs a very strong decision and very strong mind to follow the path of knowledge. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, only Vivekananda could do that. The other who try, they misunderstand, and after some time they mix up the things. So the Ramakrishna mission, if you have noticed, they always offer the combined yoga. Swami Vivekananda particularly, after his realization, he understood that to help the people like us, the combination of the four paths is the best. So if you look at the symbol that Vivekananda himself drawn that, and that was the combination of yoga, bhakti, jnana and karma. So this four, here it says no, ekaki ramate tuya. Ekaki, there remain no conception of duality. So here he enjoys being alone. He who has already plucked the fruit or realized the fruit of knowledge. What is that knowledge? The knowledge of only Brahman remains and no one else. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. The Brahman is the only truth, and all this manifestation is all temporary. So it's called Mithya. Not that it is not there, it is there, but the way you look at it, think about it, wrong. So that is Mithya. Yoga Bhyasa Phalam Tatha, and constant practice to reach over there, constant practice to be united with that particular consciousness. There is a yoga. So then, Tripta Shacha Indriya, your indriyas, your mind, actually here it says, the indriya means all the sense organs, here it says the mind becomes Satcha, Pavitra. What is the Pavitrata? What is the purity? Mind becomes pure, means no conception of the world. What is the purity? Purity means from the mind, the conception of the world, the varieties done. So that is the purity. And what remains there? Ramate, joy, joy and joy. That's why in the Upanishad it says, Anandeva khalu imani bhutani jayante. In that one of the Upanishads, it says, Anandeva khalu imani bhutani jayante. From the joy only everything has come. So when you go back, where do you go back? In the joy. And what is the joy? To be alone. And what is this loneliness? I belong to everything. So I am not angry with anyone. I am not going to fight with anyone. I am not jealous of anyone. I don't hanker for anything. But I enjoy. So we will come to that. And Astavakra, Samhita takes our mind in such a high plane where trace of duality, like the heaven, God, liberation, everything vanishes. In the 5th verse of the 17th chapter, Astavakra says, everything vanishes. Remember it. There is no heaven. There is no God conception. Someone was telling, oh my God, what this scripture is. I told, this is not for you. The one who can really understand, so you know that in the Swami Vivekananda's life, when he was talking about the pure Advaita Vedanta, then one lady couldn't understand it and he said, Swami, I can't get it. What is this you are talking about? The Swamiji said, oh, you don't understand it? This is not for you. Then another said, but I am liking it. It's so encouraging. You like it? This is for you. It depends on the person who is practicing, who is accepting, who is taking it. So this completely depend on the person. Because unless and until your mind is pure, nothing will come. What is that purity again? Don't forget that. Purity means no attachment, no desire, no connection, no conception of the duality, of this world, of this manifestation, of this creation. When that is there, that is called the purity. When the Jesus said, blessed are those who are pure in heart. Pure in heart, I don't tell lies, I didn't beat anyone. And when I was a child, that was a small fight. No, otherwise that is not purity. Purity is this. Purity is completely, you are forgetting that there is any duality. Nothing is there. So all this manifestation that we see, including me, my body, my mind, my personality, nothing will remain. When that is there, then it calls the blessedness, the purity. Now Astavakra, that is the Rishi, he is now teaching Bubukshu yasamsare mumukshu apidrishyate lobha moksha nirakangshi biralo hi mahashayaha. Maha-ashaya. In the Bengali, when they respect a person, they address him as Mahashaya. What is this Mahashaya? Sometimes they call the Sir or the Babu, like that. But here the Mahashaya means he is the Ashaya, he is the repository, he is the store of a great thought. Ashaya means the store. Here the great thought, what is that? Bubukshu iha samsare, who desire for worldly enjoyment. Bubukshu, so hankering. It goes Bubukshu and Mumukshu, these are the two words in Sanskrit. Bubukshu is a desire for the enjoyment of the worldly objects. Bubukshu. And Mumukshu, he is desirous to enjoy the spiritual goal. So these are the two differences. Desire is there. Desire to get the enjoyment from the worldly objects, and desire to be liberated from the attraction of the worldly objects. These two. And one is Bubukshu, he is going in, and another is Mumukshu, he is going out. So this, nothing should be there. The people who are desirous the worldly enjoyment, and there are others who hanker for liberation. There may be most of the people will find like that. They always think that we like to be liberated, we like to get the blessings of God and all this. Rare indeed is he who never crave for either enjoyment or liberation. The Swami Vivekananda, he actually spreaded the Vedanta in the West. Why? Because in the Western life, there's something is very special. They depend on themselves. So they are not going to depend on anyone else. Majority of the time that we have had seen that even the parents, when they are very old, they give in donation their whole property to some organization or somebody, not to their children. And children are also not hankering for that. Though we are sufficient, we are earning, that's sufficient. So always they want to stand on their own feet. That is one characteristic, is the basic characteristic necessary for practicing this pure Advaita Vedanta. So not that there is no emotion is there, but there should not be any attachment. So perhaps Swamiji noticed these characteristics in the Europe and America, and he spreaded the Vedanta, and they like Vedanta. and they want to be free. They want to stand on their own feet. If I am suffering, I am not going to blame anyone. This is for me. If I am going to enjoy, this is for me. And detachment is so natural in them. Naturally, they are, to some extent, a little advanced student for the Vedanta. But those who are emotionally bound, attached, for them it is little difficult. It's very difficult. So he is telling, bubukshu ya samsare, mumukshu api drishyate. Those who are trying to enjoy this worldly life, I want to purchase this, I want to go over there, I like to visit that, I like to have this. This desire is common. Even among the children you will find, the young people, they are always thinking in that way. Majority of the people, they will always talk about this, enjoyment. In any meeting you go, the social meeting, nowadays of course social meeting has stopped, but online meetings are going on. If you listen to their chats, their discussion, all discussing about this. Or in the, you have not ordered this thing, oh this is very easy to, and this is so tasty, it is so good, you can purchase from here. But they're all exchanging information, and information about the bhoga, information about the enjoyment of the worldly things. It's so common. And you will also find some people, they're talking, but particularly with the monks, they come and they converse, they always express their desire to be free. Swamiji, from now I like to be free. You will find this type of people. Have you ever seen anyone who never thinks about this too? Completely free? That is the rarest of the rare. So that is the person about whom the Astavakra is talking about. Why? No, he is not mad. He is a fulfilled person. That way he is a lonely person. He has no desire to enjoy this world and no hankering to be liberated, because he is already liberated. He is where I am going to go, I am already liberated. So this is the thing. That condition is what it says, the highest condition, the best condition, and then Astavakra will go on giving us the example to clarify our conception about this freedom. We want that which we don't have. When one becomes pure conscious, what is the bondage or liberation for that person? When you think the completely free from that, what is the bondage and what is the liberation? Obviously nothing is there. Ma Sharadamani Devi, she was working like any other village ladies in Bengal, and particularly Brahmin family, very orthodox. So naturally she was preparing, washing the fruits and the vegetables, cutting them, dressing them, cooking them, and feeding and keeping some records also, what is there in the stock, and all normal life. So obviously people, when they came, and particularly ladies, they came, they thought that they are going to a religious person, holy person. She'll be sitting on one chair, meditating constantly, having some marks and all over the body, talking only about God, sometimes opening the eyes, nothing, so normal. So they were confused. Then they said, Mother, I think you are bound by Maya. They are all, like us, you are doing all these things. You know the reply? The mother replied, what to say, my daughter? Because I am Mahamaya. I don't know whether lady understood or not, but look at this. She was conscious with she. I am Mahamaya, the power of the God, the power which is binding and giving liberation to everyone. So what is that meditation for her? What is that these and that we usually show as a religious thing? What is for that? So this is, when I was in Andaman, the one captain of a ship, he came and he was from, I think from UP in India, Uttar Pradesh. And conception, there's a very intelligent boy. He became the captain of a ship, you can understand. So when he came, he saw me, he had great respect. Then I was typing a letter at that time, the type machine was there. And then he said, Swami, if you don't mind. And yes, why Swami should type? Then what the Swami should do? No, he should sit on an asana, and the people will come and serve him. He will only give the discourses. I told, for that only I am typing, because I have to have the donation, then I can make the ashrama, then I can have some brahmacharis and monks and also some people to help me. Then only I can sit over there and give the discourses. So now I have to type. So he couldn't understand, but he liked me, loved me. We had a very good relation. I sailed in his ship for many times. And not only that, he was very respectful. He arranged the talk in that ship. So when we were sailing from Andaman to Calcutta, 3 days in that Bay of Bengal, you can't see anything all around except the water. So naturally people, they used to become the what to do or not to do. So he arranged a talk. In the ship there are so many arrangements. The movie hall is there and all this. So he arranged a talk. 3 days I gave the talk. What is God? What happens? How to realize God? And what happens after they realize? That was a unique experience for me, giving the spiritual talk on the ocean. So this way it goes. Most of the people, they think that religious people means you'll be like this, you'll be like that. It is not like that. Internally, completely unattached. Externally, he is very much active. So we will go to that. Externally, these exalted souls remain like any other person. As by giving the example from the life of Ma Sharadamani Devi, but being completely free from any duality, they remain ever free, never identifies with any object, and they remain alone and ever contented. That is in the 8th verse of the 17th chapter. Pashyan, Srinnan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Grinhan, Badan, Brajan, Ihita, Anihitai, Mukta, Mukta eva Mohashaya. Again and again this word Mohashaya. And this is the 12th verse of the 17th chapter. These words, those who have read the Bhagavad Gita, perhaps you have come across, the Pashyan, Jigran, etc. These are all different type of work you have to offer to God. Here, Bhagavad Gita says you offer to me. And here it says, this is a very unique condition explained in the verse. The self-realized person does everything, though in reality he does nothing. The Pashyan, Srinnan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Grinhan, Badan, Bhajan. So like this, he looks, he listens, and he touches, and he eats, and he does everything. Like this, we says, the seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, talking, speaking, walking, but he does nothing. How it is? He is not associated with that. So this is the thing. It is really difficult to understand this. So when we are doing something at the same time not doing, if you are not attached to that, you are not doing. As an example, we can say, if a child is playing with some, maybe a revolver, playing because he doesn't know what is it. It's just like a doll. It's touching this, touching, throwing this, throwing that. Suddenly, from the revolver, because something happened, maybe the safety, the catch was open, it fired, and it hit something or someone. child not to blame. No one will blame the child. Why? He was doing that. But he was not aware of that. He was not attached to that. To some extent we can say this is an example. If the child is doing like that, and by that way if he is hitting someone, he is not to blame. Why? He is not attached to that. Same way, the highly religious people, they are doing everything, but they are not attached to that. Though they do apparently with all these, and we always say, oh, he is doing this, he is doing that. In the life of Swami Vivekananda, if you notice, the man, the Swami Vivekananda, wherever he used to sit, used to go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Those who have little idea about the Samadhi and the meditation, they will realize how exalted mind he was having. Here in America, he asked the ladies to prepare some breakfast and then went out, sat under a tree. Still it is there. And near our New York, if you go, so he went and sat under the tree and went into Samadhi. And it's so deep Samadhi, there is no sign of life in his body. So only one lady knew, the Swamiji told, when you find me, if you find me, that there is no sign of life in my body, take the name of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. My mind will come back. And she immediately repeated the name of Sri Ramakrishna, and slowly, Swami Vivekananda got back the consciousness. What happened to him? Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What happens in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi? All consciousness goes away. The body remains, but there is no life. Where he was, that no one can explain, unless and until we realize that, practice that. So when that person is giving the talk, doing this, collecting the donation fund for the Indian work, so many things he is doing. In reality, nothing. But the then people, they couldn't understand that. They were thinking, oh, he is collecting from America so much of dollar. He is a rich man. So they went to the court against him. Why we rich people have to give the taxes? Why not Vivekananda? Can you imagine? The society don't understand this. Only those who are trying to realize Brahman, are studying the scripture, following some discipline in the spiritual path, they only can understand how difficult it is. That's why in the last day, Swami Vivekananda, he soliloquized. He said to himself, had there been another Vivekananda, he could understand what this Vivekananda has done. It is not possible unless we reach into that height. The knower of the self, being free from duality, do not feel doing anything, though apparently doing. The knower of the self is above action and inaction. Action done with attachment, and action done without attachment. These are the difference. Now this idea is elaborated in the verse 13. Na nindati, na cha stauti, na hrishyati, na kuppati, na dadati, na grinnati, mukta sarvatra nirasaha. The beautiful way, the Brahma Jnani, the knower of Brahman, neither criticizes nor praises. Whom he will criticize? Because it is he. Whom he will praise? Because it is he. So neither criticize nor praises, nor nindati, nor just stauti. Neither rejoices nor become angry, nor hrishyati, nor kuppati, nor dadati. He neither gives and nor takes, nor grinnati. Mukta sarvatra. He is free from attachment to all objects. That is the one way. He is living, he is doing everything, but in reality, he is not doing anything because his mind is not attached. The same idea echoed in the verse 15, 16 and 17. I will read together, the time is short. Sukhe dukkhe nare narayam sampatsu cha vipatsachu vishesho naiva dhirasya sarvatra samadarshinaha. Sukhe dukkhe. The Brahmagyani remains equal in sukhe, happiness, dukkhe, in misery. Nare narayam sampatsu cha vipatsu cha. Cha means and. So prosperity and adversity. He does not see difference between man and woman. He is steady everywhere. Friends, if we remember as an example, the Shukdev. The Shukdev went to here he is a student, but Shukdev went to learn from him, the king Janaka. Janaka wanted to examine Shukdev. He was a young man, 16, 17 years. No thread on his body, complete stark naked. But he was not having any consciousness of the body. The beautiful looking young man. He went at the door of that king, and the king told his people, ask him to sit over there before that gate and wait for 3 days. Don't pay any attention, rather go and insult him. So the people started, they came and they looked at him because he was not having any clothing. So they taunted him, threw the stones, rebuked at him so many ways, and no food or water for 3 days and 3 nights. But Shukdev was sitting quietly in front of the door. You can imagine. Immediately after these 3 days, Janaka himself came with all the beautiful ladies of the king's family. They came and they gave the dress and they bathed him, and then they worshipped him. They offered him good food, and people started singing, throwing the flower petals, and took him inside. Shuk was all the same. When they were insulting him, unperturbed. When they were praising him, worshipping him, unperturbed. That is Brahmagyani. So when they say Sukhe dukkhe, same. You know, when they reach into that, not only through the path of knowledge, but also the path of karma or bhakti. There is another person I will just mention about, Bhamakhyapa. Bhamakhyapa was a worship of goddess Kali. He was a tantric. In the Tarapit, still it is there in the Bengal, India, thousands of people they go. The Bhamakhyapa is to worship the goddess Kali. He reached into that height, he could not differentiate the man and woman. Anyone was same to him. He reached into that height. So that is called the Bhamakhyapa. It is possible. Examples are there. Is steady everywhere. Brahmagyana, realization of Brahman, means realization of the truth. The knowledge of oneness. Hence, differences or pair of opposite remain no more in him or her. The Brahmagyana when they are happy. To describe that, the Astavakra says in the 16 and 17, I will read both the verses together. Na himsa naiva karunyam, na uddhattam na cha deenata, na ascharjam naiva cha shobha, sheena samsmarane anare, na mukto vishayadishta, na va vishayalolupaha, asamsaktamana nityam praptam upasnute. Being transcended the worldly nature, the Brahmagyani neither feel compassion nor urge to harm. Neither feel compassion nor urge to harm. Why he is not feeling compassion? Because for him, that Brahmajnani, everything is same. Nothing wrong is happening. Is all he says, only nothing. Suppose you see in the cinema, in the movie, in the drama, and we know everything of that, we are not affected by that. Somebody is killing somebody. We are not affected because we know it is just a drama. Nothing is actually happening. So Jnani neither feel compassion nor urge to harm. Jnani neither feel humility nor arrogance. Jnani neither feel wonder nor mental disturbances. He is equal. The liberated one neither feel attraction nor aversion toward the worldly objects. Na mukto vishaya deshta naba vishaya lolupa. Mukta, the liberated one, liberated from the bondage, vishaya deshta, he is not, we go on, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Some people in the beginning of their spiritual life, they do. Otherwise, now if it coming, okay. It's not there, okay. Swami Brahmananda Ji Maharaj was meditating. It happened in Ayodhya, I think. Now Ayodhya, great temple is coming up. Now the Ramachandra, this is really a great news, because after so many 100 years this is happening. Say, he was meditating on the bank of the Saryu. Then one person saw this young Swami sitting over there, not proper dress, because it was winter, and by the side of the river it was very cold. So he brought some blankets and kept it so near to him. And he was meditating, his eyes were open, and he saw the man left those things and went. Then afterwards he saw another person came. He noticed that the Swami is not blinking or touching or grabbing that or going to utilize that. So he slowly came. When the Swami was looking at him, you can imagine, so close, and picked up those things and ran away. The Swami was sitting all alone. This is Brahmajnani. So this way they live. Now I will conclude by quoting from the 19th verse. Nirmamo nirahamkara na kinchat iti nischita antag galita sarva asha kurban api karoti naha. 17th chapter, 19th verse. Being free from the feeling of I and mine. Nirmama, na mama iti. So nirmama. Nirahamkara, without any ego. Na kinchidati nischitaha, the confirm that nothing exists. Antar galita sarva asha, Brahmajnani does not perform any action. Kurban api karotina, though he is performing, though he is doing, but in reality he is not doing anything. That is the highest level of the Advaita Vedanta. So friends, that is our goal. We have to reach over there, and step by step we will go over there. In the beginning, we go to the Guru, we receive the mantra diksha and the instruction how to practice that, we start with that. Then the Guru will say, read these scriptures, the Gita, then the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Slowly, slowly we read. We try to understand. We are reading the scripture. Immediately the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ma Sharada. We get the examples of the exalted qualities, spiritual qualities that is there in the scripture. They are practicing Sri Ramakrishna's life, manifesting that. We feel the confidence, we feel joy, we feel urge to move forward. So step by step we go, and one day by the grace of that your Guru and the divinity, you will be on the top of that mountain, and he will say, I alone exist and I am happy. That is the exalted position, and that is called living alone. Thank you very much. Is there any question?
Two questions. The first question is from Shupradeep. He says, Swamiji, if you say that spiritual guru is not attached to the action even though he or she is engaged into action, does that mean they are performing these acts only superficially?
Oh, no, not superficially. Unattached way. They are very sincere. When they are guiding you, when they are talking to you, when they are praying for you, they are doing it sincerely. But at the same time, they are not attached to that. So, sir, you have to understand the attachment and non-attachment. So suppose you go to a place where you find some small kid of the same age of your son or daughter, and you give them new clothing, food, and all maybe some toys to play, and they are very so happy, and they are smiling, looking at you. You also feel joy. The moment you turn and come away from this place, you don't remember that. So that means you have done the work, but with unattachment. But the same thing when you do with your children, own children, you feel attached to that children, isn't it? So this is the difference. We do everything and much more love and concern, but without attachment.
The next question is from Srima Viswas. She is asking how we keep away ourselves from attachment.
Shimaji, this is only the practice, you know. Slowly you have to go on practicing. The more you are practicing, you have to observe what are the things or the people, the persons you get attached to. You feel concerned, too much concern. And if you go on noticing that in your notebook, if you like, write it. And then slowly say, I will love, but at the same time, I am not going to be attached to that. By that way, if you go on practicing, time will come, your love will be 100-fold, much more. But there will be no attachment. That is a unique stage of mind. Joy is there, but at the same time, no fear of losing. Thank you.
The next question is Shupama Ghosh. Only Brahmagani attains Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Is it possible for an ordinary person to attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi by the grace of Guru?
Oh, sure. There are so many Brahmaganis. And by the grace of Guru, by the very attentive practice of the person who wants to get the Nirvikalpa Samadhi will get the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And when he or she gets the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he goes into the rank of Brahmagani. So I pray that all of us become Brahmagani. Thank you very much. So let us say Shanti 3 times and pray to the Almighty, the Supreme Being. Again, I am coming down from the Advaita Vedanta, Supreme Being, that people who are suffering all around, let them be happy, healthy, and free of fear. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om, peace, peace, peace unto all.